It's a Friday night. You just got off work. You're trying to figure out what the plan is for the night. You call your friend and you ask them if they want to meet at the local bar, maybe around 7 o'clock. The friend says sure, but the friend also lets you know that they will be riding their new motorcycle that they just got to the bar. You say, that sounds good. I'll see you there at 7. You arrive there, you're there for about 15-20 minutes. Friends still nowhere to be seen. You begin to get worried. You give them a call, they don't pick up. And the night progresses on, you finally just end up calling it quits. You go home, only to find out later that night that the friend was involved in a motorcycle accident and is in serious condition due to not wearing a helmet while riding. Now, as much as I wish I could say that this story isn't true, it isn't a fantasy though. This does happen around, not me personally, who knows someone that this happened to, but, it does happen that people are involved in serious motorcycle accidents and get into serious condition due to not wearing a helmet while riding. Now, according to Marian Abkari's article from the Science Direct website in 2021, motorcycle riders have the highest disability and mortality rates caused by motor vehicle collisions. And, I don't think that's really a statement that need to be said. I think it's kind of a given that everyone knows the dangers of riding a motorcycle. Specifically because when you're in a car, you kind of have that protection all around you. So if you were to unfortunately be involved in an accident while in a car, it's pretty safe to say that your accident isn't going to be as severe as someone who was involved in an accident and is just on a motorcycle. They're in, they have no protection around them. They're in just an open environment. And as an individual with a few friends who do have motorcycles, and myself who's actively working on getting their motorcycle license, we constantly hear about, how, motorcycles are extremely dangerous, don't get one, you shouldn't be riding one. And, I'm an individual who believes, obviously if it's legal, if someone enjoys doing something, they should have that privilege to be able to do it. And that's especially true with motorcycles. Obviously riding a motorcycle is extremely fun. You enjoy that open ride experience. It makes something as simple as, going to the store, or going to a bar, or meeting up with some friends. It adds just a level of enjoyment. It clears your mind. You're on the road, you're driving, enjoying just the open air, especially in the summertime, it really can't be beaten. However, it is kind of hard to, not acknowledge the dangers that come along with riding a motorcycle. Now, point blank period, wearing a helmet while riding a motorcycle should be mandatory. As it significantly reduces the risk of severe head injuries, promotes public health benefits, and decreases the financial burden on healthcare systems. Today, I want to talk about all of those things. I want to talk about how, something as simple as wearing a helmet while riding has both health and financial benefits, and that's why it should be mandatory. Now, getting on to, the public health or your own health benefit, wearing a helmet while riding significantly reduces the risk of severe head injuries. From the BMC Public Health website in 2022, author Nadifa Abdi described helmet use provided an 88% reduction in serious head injuries. Now, obviously, if you're riding a bike and you're involved in an accident, if that were to unfortunately happen, wearing a helmet isn't going to guarantee your safety. It's not going to totally prevent all injuries. But what it does do, it offers a sharp percentage in the reduction of how serious a head injury could be. So if you compare two people who were on motorcycles, one got in an accident, one had a helmet on, the other one got in an accident, they didn't have a helmet on, if they were to land on their head or, something that involves an injury to their head, obviously the one who had a regulated helmet on would see, they would see a low reduction in how serious that head injury may be. Like I said, it doesn't guarantee that. Obviously, it does offer a sharp percentage on the reduction of how serious your head injury may be. Now, we're going to talk about how wearing a helmet promotes public health benefits. From the National Library of Medicine website in 2021, author Jacob R. Leonard describes how mandatory helmet laws in countries that had them had substantial public health benefits in all income contexts. Now, what this means is basically in the article, the author compared countries that had mandatory helmet laws versus countries that didn't have mandatory helmet laws. And obviously there's a big, public health safety boost in the countries that did have mandatory helmet laws, due to the fact that, you didn't have a choice. If you were caught on a motorcycle without a helmet, that's a ticket, that's a fine, however much it may be. But what it does is it promotes, the public health safety. It says, if someone got pulled over, they say, hey, man, we're not giving you a ticket because, you're doing something. I mean, obviously it is illegal in those places, but, mainly it's not about that. It's about, hey, we're just looking out for your safety. We want to promote the public health safety for people who have motorcycles. And the mandatory helmet laws in those countries did that exact thing. Now, finally, wearing a helmet while riding decreases the financial burden on healthcare systems. According to author Aswar Ali from the Dove Press website in 2022, helmet use amongst motorcyclists significantly reduced healthcare costs and resources during hospitalization. So like I said, if you were to be involved in a motorcycle and you had a helmet on, obviously, a head injury is going to be very expensive in the hospital. Whether they have to do scans, any of that kind of stuff, it's going to be expensive. There's going to be a lot of resources in the hospital being used for that. You can expect to fully pay your deductible, and you can also expect your insurance rate to go up. And if you had a helmet on when that happened, obviously, like I said earlier, it's not going to totally guarantee your safety. It's not going to guarantee that any of those things don't happen. But it does offer a noticeable reduction, just in general speaking, for the resources, the medical costs, and insurance rates if you had a helmet on. So if you're wearing a helmet and that happens, you can expect not to see the resources and the costs go up for your hospitalization trip. And, a counter argument to all this is people saying, hey, I want to be able to ride a motorcycle without wearing a helmet. I've ridden one for years, never been in an accident. I don't understand why I have to wear one. You're stripping away my freedoms. And while this is kind of true inherently that, it's, motorcycles are motorcyclists. They're not gonna, sometimes they're pretty stubborn. And the ones that don't wear helmets, they're gonna, bark and bicker about not wearing one. And it's a give and take. It's something that, hey, I understand that we may be stripping away what you feel your personal freedoms are, but it is because we want to do everything we can to ensure your safety while riding a motorcycle. So to wrap up, we talked about how wearing a helmet, obviously it increases your personal safety, or increases the chance of your personal safety, and limits the seriousness of head injuries. It promotes the public health safety for everyone, and you can expect a decrease in the hospitalization resources and cost used for those who are unfortunately involved in motorcycle accidents. Now, thinking back into the original statement about, your friend who you just heard was involved in an accident, you might have been thinking to yourself after, what could have I done to prevent that from happening? Obviously, you can't, prevent the accident from happening, but you did hear that they didn't have a helmet on while they were riding. According to author Sabjaki Jomoko from the MDPI website in 2020, one of the biggest motivators for wearing a helmet while riding is simply the health benefits that come along with having a helmet on while riding. Now, basically, we're saying that, people that don't wear helmets, they need a motivator, and obviously the health benefits is the biggest motivator for wearing a helmet. So if you're ever in that position, call your friend, do it for your own sake, do it for their own sake, do it for their family, their friends, and just tell them that, hey man, you have to wear a helmet while you're riding. I understand you might not want to, you might feel that it's stripping away your own personal freedom, but please do it. Obviously we never want to see anyone in serious condition from riding a motorcycle, and obviously that's still unfortunately going to happen just because of how often motorcycle accidents occur. But if helmet laws are mandatory, we can expect a serious reduction in how serious the head injuries are, how serious just in general the injury is. We can expect, reductions in hospitalization, the hospitalization costs, the resources, and it obviously promotes public health safety. So let's make helmet wearing while riding a motorcycle mandatory. Thank you.